Hello and welcome to this course about the life of Jesus Christ. This course is being recorded in the spring of 2019. We hope it can be a great blessing to you and to those you know. My name is Stephen Austin. I'll be the professor for this course. I'm currently the director of the Texas International Bible Institute. We are an institute that has about 7,000 students in about 116 countries around the world. And we primarily train people, both men and women, in Spanish. But for this course, we wanted to offer it in English as well in order to reach more people. We have a wide variety of ministry courses and also biblical text courses, including biblical languages. And we invite you to go to our website at www.ibitibi.org. Once again, that's www.ibitibi.org. Many materials for this course will be on a web page at that site, and you are free to go to that right now and look it up if you like. The first thing that we'll do in this course is to go over some of the course goals and expectations and assignments. So you can download the syllabus for the course, and we'll be looking at that right now. You already see it there on screen with you. This is a little bit different course. Normally, a lot of our courses that we give are live, and we have interaction with students, and there's tests and assignments due. But the nature of this course is different because I don't know exactly who's going to be watching it or when. I hope it can be a blessing for hundreds or even thousands of people over the years for many years to come. And so for this, instead of having a grade that will be assigned, instead of having due dates, which really wouldn't work very well, what I'd like to do is to invite you to deepen your knowledge, to deepen your understanding and your interaction with the material through looking at various resources and also perhaps participating in different kinds of assignments that will help you achieve those goals. So let's go to the course goals right now. First of all, obviously, number one is to study the life of Christ as revealed in the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And one of the goals is to be able to tell the story of Jesus in chronological order. I find that many people can tell scattered stories about the life of Jesus very well, parables or miracles, Sermon on the Mount, but may not have an idea of how it all fits together in some sort of chronological order. So that's one of our goals for this class. Number two, to understand the relationship that we have or could have with Jesus and the Word of God. As I said, I don't know who will be watching this course. Probably many of you are Christians that want to know more about the life of Christ, and that's wonderful. And there may be others that see this course online and are interested that don't profess any particular kind of belief, and you're welcome as well. We want you to look at these and think about the things that we say and study them for your own, and then decide what you believe. Number three, we want to understand the basic history of the land of Palestine in the time of Christ, including historical, geographical, and cultural aspects. And we want to do this to make the course deeper and also more interesting. We'll have a lot of pictures, a lot of maps, occasional videos or video links, and many other resources that I'll be talking about in the next video that are available to you. I think you'll find that as you understand more of the background of the text, that the text will come to life. You'll identify more with it. It'll be easier to imagine things, understand things as well. Number four, we want to see how the original languages can help us better understand the text. Obviously, most of the stories that we study will be out of the New Testament, but there's stories that we also refer to in the Old Testament. And so the languages of Greek for New Testament and Hebrew for Old Testament come into play. And we'll look at different words and different ways that how understanding the original languages can help us penetrate the text better. Number five, we want to pay particular attention to key areas of Jesus' ministry and teaching, such as the Sermon on the Mount, a famous teaching of Jesus, his parables, and also the miracles, as well as other key events in his life. Number six, we want to imitate Jesus and how he related to the many different kinds of people he interacted with, and also the challenges that come along with that. And I want to say here that this course can change your life. Not because I'm the teacher, not because of any one particular set of materials that we're going to use, but because in every class we'll be talking about Jesus, who he is, what he said, what he did, the impact that he has on people. And we believe that that can and will change your life if you choose to let that happen. Number 7, we want to learn about the many tools available for studying the life of Christ, whether it's books or maps or pictures or videos, websites, other resources, and we'll mention some of those a little bit in this class and then also in the next one. And number 8, we want to be able to apply all of this knowledge to our lives on a personal level, also in the church setting if you're a member of a church, because we don't want this knowledge just to be knowledge, information, data. We have plenty of that. There's terabytes of information in the world available to us now, but if we don't apply it, it's of no use. And so I invite you and I challenge you to learn this material and then see how it can be applied to your lives. Now let's go to the different kinds of exercises that may help you reflect or perhaps experiment different things in your Christian walk, or if you're not a Christian, just seeing what you think about these, seeing how these make sense, what you can learn from them. One is the Sermon on the Mount challenge. And that would be to take each of the following statements that Jesus mentions in the Sermon on the Mount and practice it for a day, or maybe even longer if you choose to do so, with whatever opportunities you have or that you can make. Some of these things will come naturally to you, and others you'll have to go after and look at. They won't come that easily. And then, just for your benefit, because obviously you're not turning this into me, although I'd be happy to see it if you wanted to send it to me, write a one-page paper describing what you did and also how you felt about it, and then what you learned from it, how you might have applied it, things that surprised you, things that you expected, things that may be able to change your life in a good way. So, for example, the first one is to fast for a day. And there's different kinds of fasts. You can fast from food, the most obvious one, the one that most people think about. But some people fast from other things that seem to occupy a lot of their time or they feel controlled by. So they can step away for a day or longer and fast from that particular thing or activity. Some people fast from technology, for example, put away their phone or their iPads or laptops or even TV for a day or more just to see how that feels and how that helps based on what Jesus says in Matthew 6. Be reconciled with your brother. In other words, look in your life and see if there's people that you need to forgive, people for whom or with whom you have a long-standing conflict, maybe a misunderstanding, maybe a relationship that's been bad for 20 years or more. Practice forgiveness with them. Even if it comes to it, they may even feel like your enemy. Well, then even love and forgive your enemy. We'll talk about this more in depth as we reach the Sermon on the Mount, but I found that this one has potential to really change your life. Then C, give to the one who asks of you, or give to the needy. But at the same time, as Jesus says, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Don't to display it for everyone to know about or to see, again, based on what Jesus says in Matthew 6. And this is difficult because some of the people that ask for things from us may not really need them, or that might not be the best thing for them. They may have already received from you and are kind of in a cycle of enabling and being enabled. And so this takes wisdom, but it's also a stretch. Sometimes we don't know how a gift from us can change or impact a person that we're in contact with. So again, these kinds of Sermon on the Mount challenges that come straight out of Jesus' words, and you think, what would happen if I actually did that for a day or a week? Here's your chance to try these or anything else from the Sermon on the Mount that you choose to put into practice. And again, this is for you. So it's not a grade. It's just to see if this is something that can be helpful to you in your life. A second kind of homework, I guess you could say, or assignment or exercise could be to reflect on how Jesus might have used technology. I'm certain that if he were doing his ministry today in the 21st century, that he would take advantage of different ways to impact people through technology. And so For example, what might his Facebook page look like? What kinds of friends would he have on it? What would he post every day and how often? How would he interact with people on that page? There's places you can go and actually design a page online. It doesn't have to be, a real page. There's Facebook, I think, also where you can design one. That's kind of a fun assignment, and I've had that assigned in several classes. I always enjoy to see what people say with that. The second kind of technology would be through texting, because texting is such a large part of many people's lives. So you think, what would Jesus text about? How often would he text? Would he pay a lot of attention to it? Would he set it aside? Would he incorporate it into his ministry? If he's like relaxing at night, would he be texting with different people he might have interacted with that day? Would he give out his cell phone number so that people could access him all the time, or would he not do that? Would he delegate some of that to his apostles? Interesting things to think about. And I suggest several different events or scenarios in Jesus' life to try to imagine what a text thread or conversation might have been like on these topics. For example, texting with Mary and Martha and Lazarus 2 days after Jesus raised him from the dead. Or maybe including the texts that were from Mary and Martha that said, Jesus, you have to come quick. Lazarus is dead, or he's sick. And so, what would those texts have been like? Or maybe texting with the demoniac in Luke 8 that Jesus heals after he cast out the demons. And what would he have said to that guy as he was going about the commission Jesus gave him of testifying about what Jesus had done for him? Or maybe Jesus could have texted to John the Baptist in jail, or maybe they wouldn't allow cell phones in that jail either. But different scenarios, you try to put a modern twist on it and see what that would have been like. Interesting things. And the same thing for Twitter. What might a Twitter description of a certain event be like as it happens live? If you're in the crowd and you have the 5,000 that are being fed with the bread and the fish, both before, during, and after, then what would they be tweeting out to their friends as that happened? And what would be different perspectives? What would, Andrew tweet, since he was one of the guys involved in that story? What would one of the Pharisees in the crowd tweet that didn't really believe it? What would one of the families that were hungry and had come without food tweet? Just be interesting to see the different descriptions of that event as it happened. Another possibility would be to choose someone who interacted directly with Jesus in his ministry, and there are many choices here, and try to put yourselves in their shoes and write out a one-page reflection on the interaction between that person and Jesus in this one-page paper. What would they be thinking and feeling? What would their life be before and after their interaction with Jesus? And so that kind of description and reflection, I think, are helpful. Again, I've assigned this before. It's been, I think, very good for those who did it, and also very interesting for me to read as a teacher. And then also number 4, give at least 3 examples how Jesus treated people who are outcasts or marginalized in some way. And again, there's many examples of Jesus doing great things for people who normally were ignored or shunned by others. And then see what it might look like in your life. Are there people that may be homeless that ask for help on a street corner that you normally might drive past, but that you might stop as Jesus might and interact with that person as he would? And again, what would that be like? You might write that down, just reflect on that, or tell that story to someone else if that's an easier format for you to do this with. Or number 5, you could give 3 examples of how Jesus trained his disciples to be leaders in the church. And again, if you're a member of a church and you have confronted the challenge of discipling and leadership training, what does that look like in the local church where you are? What are some things you've done well and other things you may have done badly that you could improve? How would Jesus train leaders in your church? So go to his ministry and see examples of how he did it, and try to do that with people in your own church or in your own life. Number 6 here says, take the test over the chronology of the life of Christ and This is something that you can do maybe later on in the course if you want, but there will be a way that you can see if you have the events more or less in order. Some of them we can't know for sure when happened. Others we have a pretty good guess when they might have fallen in the life of Jesus. So that's another little exercise you can do to test yourself. And then an assignment that a lot of people don't like at first, but then after they do it, they see the value of it, is to draw a map and not try to just copy and paste the map from the internet into a document, not even to trace the map if you have a book with a map in it, but actually draw it out by hand and have to gauge the distances by eye and see where things are in relation to each other. I find that helps me understand the map better and the relationship, how far things are apart, because sometimes looking at a map, it impacts how you understand the story. You wonder why Jesus went there first, or why he didn't go to other places that might have been nearby, things that you wouldn't think about if you didn't look at a map as you read the story. And if you do this, then go ahead and include a lot of the places that are mentioned in Jesus' ministry. For example, key cities like Bethlehem, Jerusalem, Bethany, Samaria, and then ones in Galilee like Capernaum and Chorazin and Magdala. Key mountains, rivers, and seas. You can think about all of those and try to put those on. I think you'll find that this exercise is helpful. So those are some ideas about how you can deepen your knowledge and interact more with the material. And as we go through the classes, there may be other things that you want to research more or write about or think about or talk about with friends. And I encourage you to take advantage of all those opportunities. If you have a friend or a family member that you think might be interested in this to watch the videos with and discuss things with, that's often a large help. We do it in the context of classes or small groups, but if just you and somebody else wants to watch these a little bit at a time, I think it can be a great blessing. And sometimes you get ideas from the different perspectives of those that are watching the videos, and it can be really productive. So I hope all of those things are helpful. Since you're not getting a grade for the course, the pressure's off. Maybe you can just enjoy the mental exercises and how that might apply to your life. Now, below this, I have just a short list of different books that I've utilized in different parts of this course that have been helpful to me and in my reading to prepare for the course. There are many more books out there, thousands, literally, actually more than that. So these are just a few that reflect on different aspects of the life of Jesus and his ministry and how it applies to us today. So I'd recommend every single one of these. I've read all of these and they're excellent, very thought-provoking in many cases, may really challenge some things that you've thought before and maybe help you change in different ways as you go through the books. Also, I mentioned down here, again, our website, if you didn't write it down before, is the ibtb.org. That's a combination of the acronym of Texas International Bible Institute in English and Spanish. And then there will be a direct link on the English side to the course page for this course. And on that page, we're going to try to put all of the documents that are important, perhaps some of the PowerPoints that we use in the class, the syllabus, for example, the timelines, different resources that might be helpful to your study in this course. So you want to consult that and feel free to download those resources as you can. Now, the schedule of classes for this, it's actually fairly lengthy. Don't let this list scare you. But I wanted to do as thorough a job as I could. And so we'll actually have 56 different classes, 56 different PowerPoints that we'll be going through. But since some of those classes are a little bit longer, it's still the same topic, but it may be too long to watch in one video. I've broken up the material, so there are a total of 86 videos that'll be available for you to watch, and tried to keep the videos between 20 and 30 minutes, which are a little bit easier to deal with. So this is the list of the classes and the topics that we'll go through, pretty much in chronological order, although some of this is more topical because we don't know exactly where some of these events fall. Okay, so you just kind of see a list of the different classes and how the videos break down. I really hope that this course can be a blessing to you. I know that there's a lot of material. I know that many of you may have studied this for years, so maybe decades in your life, and that'll be a great help to you. But even if you have done that, I think you'll still learn a lot in this course. And if you don't know anything maybe about the life of Jesus, this course can be a good introduction to learning more about Jesus. I've found that after being a Christian for almost 45 years, that everything that I've learned about Jesus, I've gone along adding more to, and it's been useful, helpful as I try to decide how to live, how I treat my family, how I act in church, how I act in my community, any trips I take about sharing the gospel. Jesus has been the core of what I try to do as a Christian. And I hope this can be a blessing for you. So God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you in these courses. See you next time.